Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
A once gold-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise. Author Angela King James presents Fire. Get it on Amazon, on paperback, or Kindle. Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. This evening, I want to go over something that's very prevalent in the so-called Black community, and that is branding ourselves. Frivolous spending. We spend more money on how we look than on our health and our well-being. We're more concerned on branding ourselves than creating our own brands. We will walk into a jeweler, a clothing store, and we would allow ourselves to be manipulated into buying not necessarily the best. We want to be the one who have the exclusive, the most expensive, what others would tell us that's in this society. A lot of our brothers in particular, more the brothers than the sisters. The brothers are more shiny than the sisters. They wear more jewelry, more diamonds than the sisters do. Now, I'm going to play a documentary called How to Sell to a Negro. And it shows how salesmen are trained on how to sell us things we don't necessarily need. They'll tell us, nobody have this. This is exclusive. Or they would challenge your manhood and your ego by saying that you can't afford a certain thing, or suggesting that with action that you can't afford certain things. And us, with our egos and our frivolous spending, will purchase the most expensive thing in the store, not necessarily something with the most quality or something that would last us a long time. Like the Gucci, the Prada, the Louis Vuitton, the Balenciaga, and all those products or pushed on our people, telling us that this is fly, this is what's in, this is what we should be wearing. And these are all European fashions. None of it's made by us. Yet we fall for it every time when a salesman come to us telling us this is what's in. Nobody had this. You would be the only one that have this, and that salesman don't even have one. And us, some of us, like a fool, will actually go out and buy these things. Now, in one moment, I'm going to show you the tactics that the salesmen use in order to sell us things. We'll take a good look at this. It's coming from Washington. The average Negro wage earner today gets 4 times more money than a few years ago. The Secretary of Commerce of the United States said today, his income has increased more rapidly than the income of all other Americans, the Commerce Secretary said. He pointed out that the family income of the Negro is today at a record high. Now, this documentary, I believe, was made in the 1950s, but this came from Washington, D.C., from the Secretary of Commerce. And the problem is, when we get our money, when we're paid, if we're earning wages, it doesn't stay in our community. It stays in our community minutes before it's out our community. Not so with other communities. Our money is out of our community within minutes.
You got the level on that, Joe? Hey, how's this video coming through?
Are the lights hot enough?
Don't forget to dolly it close. All right, be sure and stay clear of number 2 camera, and all set. Stand by.
You see that name, Johnson Publishing Company, publishers of Ebony, Tan, Jet, and Hue. Coming in, I'm going to watch all these credits. I'll skip a little bit.
Hello, I'm Bob Trout. I've got a story here that I think is big, really big, because it's bound to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market. Millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend.
Speaking about us, they're talking about us. The new market is us and how they could get our money in their hands.
That's right. I said 15 billion. That's a lot of money, isn't it? The surprising thing is that it's a fresh market, still full of opportunities. It grew up so fast, got so big in a hurry, that few of us realize its scope. Now, these days, nobody's likely to pass up chances to sell. And yet right here in our own front yard, there's a neglected market. There's money waiting to be spent. To get the story of this market, to be able to tell you the secret of selling the Negro, we did a lot of digging. We talked to leading businessmen, to customers, and to salesmen. We went to Washington, D.C. We set up cameras and other key points around the nation. And out of this all, there emerged a story, the story of a new market. Yes, this is the market we're talking about, the new Negro family. Their name is Wells or Wilson, Smith or Brown or Alexander or Breen. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of 1,000 cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before. They're good prospects for practically all types of goods and services. All too often, though, they're overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas, because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro lives pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too. But just the same, a lot of old doubts and opinions keep cropping up over and over again.
I don't like to do business with Negroes. They're drifters. You can't keep track of them.
Yes, although a lot of people think that way, the truth is that 1 out of every 3 Negro families living in cities today owns its own home. That figure comes directly from the United States Bureau of Census.
Maybe so, but Negroes are poor credit risk.
Not more of a credit risk than any other group. Actually, the Negro home buyer meets his payments faithfully, often more faithfully than other race groups in the same economic level. That's the information we got from people who ought to know, the National Association of Real Estate Boards.
Well, maybe, but I've always heard that Negroes buy shoddy, poor quality merchandise.
No, it's just the other way around. According to leading researchers, in proportion to population and income, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group. You see, there are a lot of...
And that's the truth. We love to sport nice looking clothing. We love to drive a nice car, but yet we don't concentrate on any type of generational wealth. We don't like to save money. That's our problem. And people can sell us anything. All they have to do is say, you'll be the first one to have it. This is exclusive. Nobody has this. This is what's in. This is what's fly. They tell us what's fly, and we buy a hook, line, and sinker and end up buying something that really frivolous and has no value to it. Salute to the brother Black Wild Indian. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through.
A lot of confused notions about the Negro customer. But when you dig right down and find out about them, they just don't hold water. Negroes own homes. They meet their payments faithfully. They buy good brands of merchandise. So why let a lot of old-fashioned ideas hurt profits? Take a look at the real facts. Here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, some amazing facts and figures about this new market have been uncovered. For a first-hand report, we would like to take you directly to the United States Department of Commerce to hear this story from the Secretary of Commerce himself. Here is the Honorable Sinclair Weeks, the Secretary of Commerce of the United States.
In the Department of Commerce, we are constantly alert to trends that mean a healthier national economy, better business for the nation as a whole. Recently, we have been interested in a rising young market, one that represents a huge potential for goods and services. I'm referring to the new Negro market. The tremendous buying power of this group is backed, of course, by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans. Just take a look at a few figures. An official Department of Commerce report shows that at least 1/3 of the Negroes living in cities earn from $2,000 to $5,000 a year. Today, the average Negro wage earner brings home a paycheck 4 times larger than the one he collected in 1939. As a whole, the Negro market has a total income of about $15 billion every year. And after taxes, Negro families still have many billions of dollars to spend. Here is a buying power that cannot help but have a tremendous effect on our national economy and on business prosperity in general. When these dollars are spent for a wide range of goods, services, and employment, business everywhere is bound to feel the impact.
This new buying power has resulted in a class Negro market, a profitable, above-average income group of consumers. For example, the nation's largest newspaper and magazine research organization, Daniel Starch and Staff, reports these significant figures. More than 51% of the readers of Ebony magazine have a record player in their homes. Almost 64% own a television set. And almost 78% enjoy the convenience of an electric refrigerator. It is also a fact, and this is from the magazine The Food Field Reporter, that Negroes spend almost $3 billion a year for food alone. Per capita, they buy more cosmetics, drugs, and toiletries than anyone else in the country.
Which is also to this very day. And we hardly own any of the beauty supplies. We own barbershops, beauty salons, yet we don't own any beauty supplies. And it's a few of us that do own them, and people give us a hard time purchasing the products and the merchandise wholesale so we can sell to our own people. So that's another problem. Yet we spend more money on how we look than we do on our well-being and our health.
And their children are better educated, too, because since 1930, enrollment in Negro colleges is up 2,500%. But really, to recognize the importance of this class Negro market, we must realize that something has been happening economically in our country. People are on the move. The population is shifting. The makeup of metropolitan populations today is different than it was just a few short years ago. To give you a better idea of what we mean, we set up several cameras, candid cameras, in a number of shopping locations. Take a look at these shoppers. Notice what a large proportion of them are Negroes. What's the reason? It's simply this. Negro families are moving into the cities where there are more job opportunities. Here they find occupations with more prestige and security, jobs that pay more money. As a result, Negro families today often make up the largest part of Central City consumer prospects.
Peace to you.
A shoe store in Chicago's Loop, for example, reports that more than 50% of its customers are Negroes. In another case, a drugstore located at a transfer point in a non-Negro neighborhood finds that its Negro customers total 25%. The trend is plain. The new Negro families today are moving into more populated areas, to the cities, where there are more stores, more buying opportunities. Since 1940, in San Francisco alone, the Negro market has increased by 89%. In Chicago, by 81%. Houston, Texas, 45%. Philadelphia, 50%. The impact of this new buying force is so tremendous that actually in 14 major United States markets, a product cannot be number one without Negro support. A product must have the backing of...
Now, that's an absolute fact. When fashion, or what they will call fly, they always do a test run on us, regardless to what anyone may think. The way we wear certain things, we'll take work boots, in particular, Timberlands, up in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, mostly the northern states. We took work boots and made them fly. We took athletic shoes, sneakers, and made them fly. Not necessarily a tailor-made suit, alligator and snake and ostrich skin shoes. That's fly to me because I'm an older cat. But our younger people, we took all these things were supposed to be made for work and athletics and made them straight up fly. Sweatshirts, jerseys, jeans, Timberland boots, and made them fly. Threw some jewelry on with it. Nice, sometimes a nice, fresh, crisp button down with some jeans, some Nikes on the bottom of it, and we made all that stuff fly.
Of this big new buying power to be a leader in the field. What do you have to sell? Chewing gum or cars? Toothpaste or transportation? Whatever it is, here are millions of prospects. And these prospects are everywhere. Negro customers can no longer be pigeonholed. They cannot be classified as prospects who trade only in certain stores, certain neighborhoods. Today, Negroes shop downtown. They shop in supermarkets. They shop in small neighborhood stores. They'll buy from anyone who wants to sell to them. But we all know that before you can sell to customers, you've got to get to know them. You must understand something about them. What do the Negro customers buy? Why do they buy? How do you sell to them? Let's find out. Let's hear the opinion of men who have spent a lifetime studying the buying habits of customers the world over. Here is what sales psychologists have to say about selling to the Negro.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us.
I'm not going to front, but I would love to be in that hat store right about now because that's what I'm into.
But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important and appreciated. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. 3 habits in particular play a big part in every sales transaction. To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name. They're quick to turn down off-brands. Do you wonder why? Well, listen to what this customer is thinking.
That last hat I bought.
You notice that those are Stetson hats. Top line Stetson hats. Fedoras. The same hat that Run DMC wear. That's what that is right there, way back then.
Didn't hold up at all.
You see, for a long time, the Negro has been sold a lot of shoddy, second-class merchandise. So now he asks for name brands in order to make sure he gets his money's worth. Buying by brand, that's the first important Negro buying habit. Now for the second. The Negro buys good quality merchandise. Symbols of quality and prestige are very important to the Negro customer. This woman, for example, is buying fine crystalware, but she is also buying the admiration and approval of her friends and relatives. Listen to her thoughts.
My, isn't it beautiful? I can hardly wait to show it to Sally and Joan.
It's a well-known fact that many Negro customers are influenced by the opinions of others. What?
Exactly. When we go into the jewelry store, we go into a clothing store, and if it's something that people will say or the salesperson will say exclusive, first thing we say, we get it in the mirror, we try it on, we say, oh, I'm going to kill them with this. Not necessarily getting it for yourself. It's that you get it because you want to see the reaction of the people when they see you in it. It's like, wow, I'm going to kill them with this tonight. When I go out with this on, I'm going to kill them.
What their friends may think of a certain item often decides whether or not the sale is made. So remember, the Negro buys quality merchandise. That's the second important point. And here's the third thing to remember when selling to a Negro customer. When he specifically asks for one thing, don't try to sell him something else. Don't try to switch him at the point of sale. If you do, he'll probably react something like this.
Doesn't he think I've got the money to pay for it?
There's a reason for this reaction. Again, because he's had experience with cheap merchandise, the Negro resents being offered a substitute. He wants to be sold on quality, not price. The Negro buys by brand, he buys quality, and he doesn't like to be switched at point of sale. These are the keys to selling the Negro customer. Another point. The Negro family does things together, as a group. The family works as a unit. It lives as a unit, and it buys as a unit. When you sell to one member, you many times sell to all. It's also true that many places of entertainment are still closed to the Negro. So he spends more of his money for the things that are available to him, often for items that are considered luxuries. Another trait of the Negro market is the fact that it is a pre-sold market. We know that the Negro buys by brand, and he buys the brands that he knows something about. Where does the Negro buyer get this information? We know that Negro customers are turning more and more to the publications that are tailored specifically to their needs, that give them the news and the information that they want to read about. Many leading businessmen and companies already know this. That's why so many of them are taking this direct, sure route of reaching the Negro customer. The vice president of advertising of the Gruen Watch Company, for example, says this.
In many important cities throughout the United States, Negroes are important customers of the credit jeweler. Therefore, it seemed that Ebony magazine would be a very important advertising medium for us. We would say it was very well received, and from our viewpoint, a very successful campaign.
From the Remington Rand Company comes this statement.
Our records show that advertising in Ebony has been effective in many ways. As all good advertising should, it has built a terrific amount of goodwill and has brought a volume of sales and sales inquiries.
It's not goodwill, it's advertisement, and it's only to get the sales and get the money that we earn into their pockets. These companies, these Fortune 500 companies who make expensive watches, expensive clothing, jewelry. Salute to the brother Dre Cobb's music. That's the tactic that they use. And they always present things as new, innovative, exclusive. Nobody else has it. And, in telling you that this is the thing in now, the trend. I was never the type growing up to wear trendy clothes. because I was a suit and tie guy all the way through high school. Shoes, suit, tie. You saw me in some jeans, probably a pep rally. Anything athletic, probably a pep rally, because my parents didn't buy us jeans. When I was buying jeans, Adidas and Nikes and all that, that's when I had my own job and I was buying my own clothes. But when pops and moms went and bought those school clothes, it was sweaters, suits, button-ups, ties, shoes, different color shoes. It was like that. But, you know, these trends today, like I said, we'll take athletic stuff and work stuff and make it fly.
A representative of the Alaga Syrup Company makes this statement.
Because of Alaga's regard for the influence of ebony in the Negro market, advertising space was doubled. Alaga's long experience in selling to Negroes now takes the most direct route to its best customers.
If you are old enough to know what this syrup is, put a 1 in the chat if you're old enough to know what Alaga syrup is.
Reaching Ebony's 2.5 million audience in every issue.
And here are the statements of still other business leaders.
Yes, many business leaders are discovering the most direct and most efficient way of reaching the new Negro market. Look here at the results of the same advertisement in 2 different publications, Ebony and another general magazine. You can see that proportionately, more men and women read the ad in Ebony than the one in the other magazine. And they did a better job of remembering it, too. A greater percentage of readers noted, associated.
It's all about marketing, and we have always been the market. When a new product come out, we are the market. They'll put it basically where people who like to spend their money frivolously, they'll put it in that they'll advertise it in Jet, advertise it in Ebony, or they advertise it on television. And then a lot of times we say, well, I want that because we may like the way it look. It's not necessarily good quality, but we may like the way it look. It's just to say we have it. I know women who have purses just to say they have it and don't even, use the purse. They just sit in the closet, sitting, wherever they keep it at, and don't even carry the purse.
And remembered the ad in Ebony. But now, wait a minute. If the Negro market is so big and easy to reach, why aren't more companies going out after it? Well, often because of the feeling that there's something entirely different, unusual about selling to the Negro. But is it really so different? What do salesmen say? The successful salesmen who do a good job of selling in Negro communities. How do you go about getting the order?
How do I get the order? Well, to tell you the truth, I don't do anything. Anything different, that is. I've been calling on these accounts long enough to know that the Negro just wants to be treated like everybody else. No matter who you're calling on, a little friendliness and courtesy help a lot. Naturally, anybody resents being patronized or talked down to. So I usually call a man Mr. Brown, Mr. Smith, or Mr. whatever his name is, until he tells me to call him by his first name. And of course, I always stick to business. I stay away from talk about race or religion or politics. That goes for talk about Negro celebrities, too. You know, this business about what good prize fighters and singers the Negroes are. Who cares? When a guy's in business, no matter what color his skin is, he's interested in making a living, in making money. That's uppermost in his mind. I guess maybe what I'm saying is that I try to help any way I can. Sometimes with displays or ad materials, or an idea once in a while. The important thing is that if it helps push sales for the dealer, it helps push them for me, too.
Handle the Negro account just like any of your others. Don't patronize. Stick to business. Get interested in the account. Pitch in and help. any way you can. Sounds like pretty good sales advice. That's the secret of selling the Negro. Well, how about it? What do you think of this new market? It can open new outlets for you and for everybody who sells goods or services. It's still possible to get in on the ground floor when this market is just beginning to grow and to expand. The facts and the figures that we see here are just a small sample of what they promise to be next year and the years after that. Yes, here are men and women with money to spend, and they spend it for exactly the same things as you and I and everyone else. They buy almost every time.
I'm going to skip that. I don't know if it's the same thing. I have another video based on the same thing. This documentary was made in 1954. And it's still prevalent to this day. I'm not going to play all of this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go to this one, to how they use our people and familiar faces.
You know, like a lot of people be telling me
how they use familiar faces to sell merchandise and food. You know, and this is a good example of their marketing schemes.
Dave, you know, you just gotta relax. The racism thing is bugging you too much. I be thinking about it. Sometimes shit'll happen. You know, a lot of black people can relate to this. Have you ever had something happen that was so racist that you didn't even get mad? You were just like, God damn, that was racist. I mean, it was so blatant. You were just like, wow. What happened to me? I was in Mississippi. I was in Mississippi doing a show, and I go to the restaurant to order some food, and I say to the guy, I say, I would like to have, and before I even finish my sentence, he says, the chicken. I'm like, what the fuck? I could not believe it. Could not believe that shit. This man was absolutely right. I said, how did he know that I was going to get some chicken?
It's amazing on how they take, you know, and make up Caucasian people as characters. We are really all those characters.
Who's got time to make dinner when you're busy making history? Colonel Sanders' Kentucky Fried Chicken tastes great, and it's so convenient. You can pick it up whenever you want it. Cleopatra didn't stop to fix dinner. Why should you? You make history. We'll make dinner. Colonel Sanders already made history by fixing Sunday dinners 7 days a week. Who's got time to make dinner when you're busy making history? Kentucky Fried make dinner.
Say that twice.
I thought you were going to surprise your mom and cook dinner.
Oh, I was, Papa. But it turned out to be a bad day for cooking.
Oh?
Well, first I put the salt in the pepper shaker. Then I dialed the wrong number. Twice.
Folks like my Kentucky Fried Chicken so much is they think up excuses not to cook. My secret recipe makes it so finger-licking good that it's hard to think of cooking or eating anything else.
And I couldn't find my diary either.
But for chicken's sake, I hope you never do. Come on over and visit the Colonel.
Hey, kids, kites!
No, that's a big fact. That's a big fact right there, no. How many supposedly men played all the female roles in theaters of old? Absolute fact. A whole lot of them. Most of them.
If you buy a giant root beer, or a giant Coke, or any giant soft drink at Cheetos, you get a kite to go. Wait, adults must be accompanied by a child in order to get theirs. Cheetos, the rules are placed up Next week, the kites, as long as they last.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you want Kentucky Fried Chicken, you have to visit me. Oh, visit the Colonel and have a piece of chicken. Visit the Colonel, go ahead and eat. You visit the Colonel when you eat his chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken, a real old-fashioned treat.
It took the Colonel years to find his secret recipe, but all kinds of folks were waiting.
They need to stop that. It took him years. He stole that from Grandma and implemented himself. It didn't take him no years to find no damn 11 herbs and spices. He stole that from Grandma.
For it. Reach into a box or bucket of finger-licking good chicken and forget the hustle and bustle for a while. And like the Colonel says, give folks my fresh, never-frozen chicken with those 11 herbs and spices on it, and they'll call you a champion cook.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you want Kentucky Fried Chicken, you have to visit me.
We hear you got a real great burger. We got great big hero burgers. We know just can't be beaten. They're fresh and made to order, just begging to be eaten.
Chino's makes them fresh for you. Kentucky Fried Chicken too.
So come on, everybody, won't you try?
Chino's gives you freedom of choice. Chino's gives you freedom of choice. Chino's gives you freedom of choice.
Howdy, Colonel.
Howdy, boys. Hi. I just thought I'd stop in and see if you've been putting out any fires lately.
Right now, we got
This is
our
from
hands full putting out our
1967 to 2000.
Oh, I see you're using my chicken, too.
Black folks and
Colonel,
chicken.
why is your chicken so good?
Well, it's that secret recipe of 11 different spices and herbs.
We're gonna switch
And
over
then I
to
always
guys
use
by the
fresh,
time
never frozen chicken.
2010.
Speaking of cooking, how's that pretty little bride of yours doing, Artie?
Oh, just fine, Colonel. Say, you know that disagreement we had about her cooking?
Yes, yes.
Well, I just told her, when you can get chicken like this, why cook? At all. Ever.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, when you can visit the Colonel, why cook?
Last night, Russ Beeler, owner of Lake Edna KFC, opened Hammer's eyes to new popcorn chicken. Delicious, crispy, bite-sized morsels. A whole new way to enjoy the Colonel's chicken.
Come on, Hammer.
The problem was, no one could get him to go on. Until the last piece was gone.
Now that's pop.
New KFC popcorn chicken. Treat yourself for $1.99, the band just $5.99 in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Now, we all know Hammer loves popcorn chicken. Well, right now, KFC is offering the Super Pack Combo. It's a small popcorn chicken, small fries, and a Pepsi for just $4.69. And for a limited time, we'll throw in a 16-stick Super Pack of Trident gum free.
Choo-choo.
So, Hammer, what do you think about that? We figured. The KFC Super Pack Combo.
Nothing like some dancing and chicken. That's what we do. That's what they expect our people to do. Dance and advertise chicken.
Just $4.69, but only for a limited time.
Hey, how was the monster that ate Tokyo?
It made me scared. It made me hungry.
Then you're going for a burger?
Have you seen the price of burgers lately?
We're going to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
At the Colonel's, I know we always get fresh quality chicken.
Now, this is a good meal at a price that makes good sense. Right, son?
Right.
I think we're done with the chicken. I'm going to go to how they, use people to sell us stuff.
3 kids.
Alpha.
It's the Jacksons.
Sure, it's part of a good breakfast.
Smart kid.
What's new, Jackson 5? And your alphabets is C. Like decorations and alphabets. I'm gonna put color on my wheels. Mine's for the handlebars. How do they look? Beautiful. Hey, look at my great handlebars. One bike decoration in each specially marked box to post alphabets.
Mrs. Burns, I love working in your shop. But in the mornings, you have bad breath.
You need Scope mouthwash. First thing in the morning, and your breath will really be fresh. That's it. I'll tell her about Scope.
Good morning.
Mrs. Byrne.
Oh, you use Scope, too. I just tried Scope, and my breath feels just wonderful. From now on, it's Scope in the morning, every morning. Ah, good girl.
I live in a 4th-floor apartment, and this laundry room is in the basement. I was tired of racing down to catch rinse cycles. Then I discovered Bounce, the new fabric softener that works in the dryer. The Bounce Touch means my husband's pajamas are soft, socks don't cling, shirts smell fresh.
My pajamas are soft. My socks don't cling. My shirts smell fresh.
My friend who lives on the 5th floor dragged heavy bottles of liquid fabric softeners up and down. Then I told her about Bounce.
The Bounce Touch means my daughter's blouses are soft, nighties don't cling, towels smell fresh.
My blouses are soft. My nighties don't cling. My towels smell fresh.
My friend who lives on the 3rd floor never used a fabric softener, and I told her about Bounce.
The Bounce Touch means my son's jeans are soft, socks don't cling, jackets smell fresh.
My jeans are soft. My socks don't cling. My jacket smells fresh.
Discover the Bounce Touch, new from Procter & Gamble.
I'll never blow my horn again. This pizza, the noise, the stew, my head is turning, my stomach is churning. Oh, Sam, what can I do?
When you eat and play beyond moderation, you need Alka-Seltzer for sound orchestration. Alka-Seltzer speeds relief to your aching head and upset stomach.
It's the sound of fast relief.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Ooh, what a relief it is. Fast, fast, fast.
Sooner or later, you're going to try a White Owl, and when you do, we got you. Maybe we'll get you with the great White Owl flavor or the mildness.
Now, those White Owls are not used the way Bill Cosby is using the White Owls. And everybody knows that.
Or one of the great White Owl shapes, like this, New Yorker. But we're going to get you. You know we're going to get you. It's only a matter of time. And we're going to get him, White Owl. We're going to get him. We're going to get you.
I ask myself, Fred, which ballpark Frank plumps more, the beef or original? Any fool can tell you it's the beef. Fool, who's a fool? Just my luck to ask a fool. The original plumps more. Don't tell me the beef plumps more. It's the original, because I'm the original dummy. You're the original dummy, all right, and it's the beef.
Hey, fella, we just want to know which plumps more.
Listen, one dummy around here's enough. Right, dummy?
High grades, ballpark Franks. They plump when you cook them.
Want a cold capsule, Eddie?
Baby, that capsule's just for head colds. I'm also coughing. My throat is scratchy. I feel achy. I need some rest. I want
NyQuil.
NyQuil.
Vicks NyQuil, nighttime cold medicine, relieves more major cold symptoms than the leading capsule. Relieves them for hours, so it lets you get the rest you need.
You treat me like a king, Laurie.
You got a...
Now that's merchandise. So now I'm going to go over to some insane, frivolous spending. This is insane, frivolous spending.
I need you guys to watch me talk about my watches. Right here, I got 3 cases, and they're all full with watches. So when I travel, I like to take, if I'm going for 45 days, I like to take 45 watches with me. I like to have options. So everybody's always asking me, what's your favorite watch? Well, one of my favorite watch brands is Avi & Co. As you can see right here, I got this a few months back, and it's one of my favorite watches. One of the best brands in the world. That's just my personal opinion. I like the brand so much, I went and bought another watch just yesterday, Avi & Co. As you can see, Avi & Co. Now, let's talk about watches. Let's talk about jewelry. Let's talk about a few things. I need you guys to watch me talk about my watches. So we'll sit this to the side. Now, we want to give the people an appetizer or something light. So we give you 2 appetizers, then we give you a main course. Just a few watches that I got while I travel. So check this out. We're gonna go here first. And of course, the company is Avi & Co. Crazy company. Now, I need you guys to come closer.
The crazy thing in this equation is this young man. A lot of people would say it's hating, and I know for a fact that it used to be called player hating. But since most people are not players, they took the word player away from player hating, and they just call it hating because that's what's used to make people reluctant to call people out when they're doing something stupid. People don't want to be called out, so they say you're hating. It works on some of us, but a lot of us it doesn't work on, because this is stupid. He probably could buy the whole area he lived in with the prices he paid for that watch, those watches.
And check this out. So let me come to you guys a breakdown. Well, in the industry, you see a lot of people with this kind of watch, this kind of watch, and this kind of watch. Now, I must let everybody know, because everybody pronounces it different. Some say Richard Mille. Myself, I say Richard Mille, because that's what I was told in 2012 when I first purchased the watch. This right here, and this right here is just a custom watch. Real diamonds, real Richard Mille strap, but it's just a custom watch. Now, we'll move on to another case. Now, as you guys can see right here, they dancing. Now, a lot of times people ask me, why you don't have no plain watches? I'm not a plain guy. So when you are at a whole nother level and you special, you gotta have special pieces. Now, Jay-Z said a crazy quote one time. The quote was, those are not Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that? Well, it's just like a Christmas tree. When we go out for Christmas and we purchase a Christmas tree, we don't just bring a green tree home and let it sit. We decorate it. We put lights on it. It gotta shine. Now, me, I'm not a basic guy, like I said before. I like to shine. So now we can go to one of the main course meals. Check it out. Now, all these pieces is factory. All factory, all factory, all factory. Now, with that being said, this watch right here. Now, this is a Richard Mille, okay? Actually, I don't know the year, but it's a new watch. But I chose to put this band on here because that's the band that I like. Now, even though it's an old band and it got a new band for this watch, I buy what I like to buy. Now, if you're a plain guy or a basic chick, then you're going to get a basic watch. Me, I'm flashy, I'm flamboyant, I'm a king, I'm a pharaoh. You know, like a lot of times when you guys see my chains, they long. When you're a king and you're a pharaoh, your jewelry stay draped on you. I'm a king, that's what we do. Now remember, my lifestyle is flashy. Avi & Co, go check them out. Money May, and y'all know the rest.
Now we're going to get into something really quick, even more insane.
Of all the celebrities at the Super Bowl, Floyd Mayweather definitely had the most expensive outfit. Why? Because he was wearing an $18 million watch, the legendary Jacob & Co. billionaire Ashoka.
What could you put in that little area on your wrist that can be worth $18 million. That's what I'm wondering. What can you put in that area, that little small area, the size of a wrist, that can be worth $18 million? I don't care what you put in that area. It's not worth, to me, my sentiment, $18 million on your wrist.
Rolex bought a Meteor.
This proves gullibility, how gullible a person is, that somebody can sell you a piece of jewelry for $18 million. You're gullible.
That landed on Earth in 1838. And when they bought this, they said, you know what, let's get creative. Let's make some watch dials out of this. And it's definitely one of the most demanded dials in the world right now. What's up, GQ? I'm Moses the jeweler based out of New York City Diamond District. And today we're going to be looking at celebrities and the crazy watches that they wear. Pharrell Williams. Got a Pharrell rocking a crazy RM88. In order to get your hands on this, it comes at a crazy price tag. I believe Pharrell did pay around $1.2 million for this piece. That's a mansion almost anywhere in the world. Richard Mille.
Oh, look at that. What is special about that? That it costs that much money. $1.2 million for this. It looks like a swatch, a decorated swatch. It's a Richard Mille, whatever. But the only one Richie is Richard Mille. He's getting rich off these fools, and it's nothing special about this watch. I guarantee you, if they ask what time it is, and we both look at our watches at the same time, he won't be able to do no more than I do. It's just that he paid a lot more for his watch than I did. That's all.
He definitely has fun when he designs his watches, especially for people like Pharrell.
Peace to my brother, the realest McCoy. Salute to you, good brother.
You know, Pharrell needed something like this that's extremely bright and that he could show off to the people. Because something like this, you're not going to find on anyone's wrist. They only make 50 of these in the world. So over here, you got Pharrell wearing a RM7402 with a automatic tourbillon movement. And of course, you see Pharrell wearing it with this gorgeous rose gold factory bracelet that does come from art.
See, that's how they sell you. It's only 15 of them in the world. And you want that exclusivity. And you say, okay, it's only 15 of these. And that's how they get you hook, line, and sinker, by saying it's exclusive and it's rare. Which make the person who's purchasing the timepiece gullible as hell.
RM, and it gives it such a different look. You don't see watches with this type of bracelet on. Richard Mille knows how to stand out. It's almost impossible to make a name for yourself in this generation in the watch world because, of course, you're going against names like Rolex, Audemars, and Patek Philippe, which have been doing this since the 1800s. But Richard Mille really came into the game in the early 2000s, and he's the watch that everyone wants now. You have the biggest names wearing them. People are paying the craziest price tags in the world for these type of pieces. They're extremely limited to come across. It's the high-end G-Shock of the world now. As you can see, you get this bright red look. Everyone goes crazy over it. I mean, the mechanism in here is just incredible. What Richard Mille did especially is he has like that skeletonized look where you can actually see the whole entire movement inside. You can see the balance wheel. You can see everything that's going on in there. Again, it's just this rarity that people go crazy about. And when you wear a piece like this, you can see this from a mile away. This bright red stands out crazy. I know you can get a G-Shock that's also bright red that would run you around $50, but a piece like this could run you close to $400,000. pieces to represent the amount of years since our first collaboration. So imagine Tiffany and Paddock were working for 170 years together, and they're paying homage to the anniversary, coming out with such a unique piece that every single person wants, but unfortunately not everyone can get. Tom Cruise. We got Tom Cruise here. See him wearing a nice Cartier Santos. Again, it's funny to see it plain because I've seen this watch iced out more than I've seen it plain. But again, very classic look. You know, a very good starter piece, something that's going to run you around that $6,000 ballpark. It's cool to see somebody as big as Tom Cruise wear just such like a classic, low-key Cartier Santos, stainless steel with that white dial that goes crazy. Again, if you're looking for your first watch, you don't want to break the bank, of course. You know, some people, they have budgets of over 100,000, some people have budgets of 10,000, but then I get questions every single day. People ask me, what can I get? I have a 4K budget, 5K budget, 6K budget. Can never go wrong with a nice vintage Rolex, something back from like the 70s, a nice 36 millimeter Datejust, which again, iconic piece, something I will never go out of style. If you want a modern day piece, you go for the Cartier Santos like you see Tom Cruise rocking over here. You know, there's watches for every single budget, and that's the coolest part about watches. You're never right or wrong buying a watch. It's as long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Denzel Washington. First of all, shout out Denzel. My hat goes off to him. I love Denzel. And over here, we got him wearing a very humble piece, enjoying a nice G-Shock on his wrist. So it got a nice look to it also. It got that nice little bulky look. Definitely shows out. Again, a piece like this is also a gorgeous watch to get into if you don't have that high budget to buy yourself a Rolex or an AP. This is definitely a watch I would add in my own collection. So this specific G-Shock that Denzel is wearing goes for around $380 on the retail side. There's also many other affordable G-Shocks that will run you around like $80 to $100. Some gorgeous pieces. They call it the army watch. It's what all the soldiers wear. So if this could withstand war, it could also withstand probably anything that you do on your day-to-day basis. Mark Wahlberg. When you're Mark Wahlberg and you have a collection that's worth multi-millions of dollars, you can come out, wear a nice Timex that probably ran around $80 and rock it and look extremely swaggy in it too, you know? It's cool to know that somebody who has so much money is still able to wear such a subdued piece. It makes people that don't have the crazy amount of money rock these type of pieces too. Mark Wahlberg being such a big influencer, people want to copy his style. And when you see him wearing a Timex, you say, you know what? I'm going to throw a Timex on my wrist also. We also got Mark Wahlberg wearing this extremely rare olive green dial Platinum Day Date 40. The way I could tell it's a day date, first of all, is when you see that smooth bezel with the presidential links. That's your key to know that this is a Platinum Day Date. When you get into that olive green Arabic dial, extremely rare. They made a very finite amount of this. I wish Rolex did number their pieces. They don't. But if this is numbered, there's probably less than 500 in the world of these. And Mark Wahlberg is lucky to own one of these in his collection. Fat Joe. You have your plain Jane watches, but you also have your quintessential bust-down rapper watch. Joey Crack, baby. New York legend, first of all. I actually held this piece in person, and wow, the diamonds in there, unbelievable. Every stone there was cut special. Every stone does have a GIA certificate on it. Of course, when you're a Fat Joe, you need to sport a piece like this to really stand out. When you wear a piece like that, is a legit chandelier on your wrist. It's like, wait, what is that? Avi, if you want to pass me one on the house, I'll take a pristine piece also. It's a gorgeous piece. And so the cool part is with these watches is that when it's done factory in-house, it will retain its value because the company that produces the watch and sets factory stones in it, they are willing to check on your watch and service it in the future, as opposed to setting aftermarket diamonds in your watch, where you take a plain Jane Rolex and you start setting it, Rolex will not check your watch. When your diamonds are set by the company, that makes it factory diamonds, that's the one that normally goes up in value. Like Drake said. In this watch that you see Fat Joe wearing, the pristine timepiece Avalanche, there's around 200 carats of diamonds, which is absurd. It's insanity. So your average iced out watch, something like this would hold around like 25 carats. So that is 10 times the amount. I mean, when you see the size of those stones, every single stone there could be its own engagement ring. So imagine how crazy it is. Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda, crazy timepiece on his wrist. He's actually wearing two pieces, I see. He's got the Sky Dweller on his left wrist and the 8P on his right wrist, which is gorgeous. That Sky Dweller, he obviously said no budget. Big rocks in the bezel. And then I want big rocks going down the middle of my band, which you don't see this many times in your bust-down Sky Dwellers. You definitely paid a hefty price for this piece. You have many different options to go with the bust-downs, but at the starter price, you're looking at around $20,000 and up for a nice big face bust-down. Everyone wanted the Cartier Santos Iced Out. During pandemic, that was like the one watch. I sold so many of them, I can't even count how many I sold. But when you go for a piece like that, you're gonna be looking at around that $20,000 range. And then of course you have bust-downs like this AP that Bobby Shmurda's wearing that could probably rent him like 60, 70,000. So if you want to buzz down your watch, you have to understand it's not going to be going up in value a lot. But if you do buy correctly, then you're not going to lose so much also, you know, because there is a market for it. Again, most of the time when you are going to buy an iced out watch though, you're not thinking of it being an investment or not. It's like going to Louis Vuitton and buying shirts and pants from Louis Vuitton. If you try to resell it, you're not going to be getting so much back, you know, but you buy it because you enjoy it. It's definitely a flex. But if you're looking to get a watch that is a good investment and you're not going to lose so much money in, you're best off going for a plain Jane or a watch with factory diamonds, which definitely retain its value much better than the one with the aftermarket diamonds. Drake, piece like this, extremely finite amount. And of course, Drake is one of the people that do own them. Drake's Meteorite Factory Diamond Sky Dweller. It retailed for around $500,000, but if you wanted it today, it'll set you over $1 million. Rolex bought a meteor that landed on Earth in 1838. And when they bought this, they said, you know what, let's get creative. Let's make some watch dials out of this. And it's definitely one of the most demanded dials in the world right now. Everyone's calling saying, I want the day-date with the meteorite. I want the Daytona with the meteorite. And these prices are going for way more than the regular dial. Drake went classy, kind of normal for him, but still an incredible piece. Day-date 40, yellow gold with the black baguette diamond dial. One of my favorite pieces personally. We actually have it over here to show you guys. The way those baguette hit on that black, it's unbelievable. You know, to have your hour markers set as baguettes is something so unique in my eyes, always catches my attention. Of course, that yellow gold with the black and the diamonds, one of my favorite combinations in the world. This one retails for around $39,000 at Rolex, and they're going for around the same price on the secondary market. The Weeknd, baby. You know he's got to have something special on his wrist. He's got a Patek Philippe 5167 Aquanaut in stainless steel. We actually got this piece right here. I love this piece. First of all, again, very low-key. Doesn't stand out so much, but it's a if you know, you know type piece. Most of the time you would think people pay big bucks to shine and be outlandish, but now people are paying the big bucks to be more low-key. Frank Ocean. Incredible piece. There's so much going on in the dial. I'm like trying to figure out where to start right now. But of course you got that tourbillon balance wheel on the left side, and I love how he paired it. You have the subdued leather with the watch, and then he put that gorgeous white gold bracelet next to it to give it a little more pop and shine, and I just love the way it looks. So when AP made this, they made 150 pieces, but they also made 14 one-of-ones for AP's highest clientele. And of course, one of them is Pharrell Williams. And I believe that Frank Ocean actually bought this in the auction from Pharrell Williams. So this is actually one of Pharrell's pieces that Frank Ocean is sporting over here. Tyler, the Creator. You know, somebody like Tyler, he always wants to be different. When most people are wearing the Rolexes and the Richard Milles, Tyler said, you know what? Let me go crazy. Let me buy these very rare Cartiers and let me be different. Of course, when he does this, a lot of people like to follow the new trend that he has created. Only somebody like Tyler can really do something like this. That Cartier crash, I love the way that looks. Pops out. You know, you see that piece, you know it's something extremely different. You don't see watches that are done like that. Kanye sported it. I know Jay-Z has one in his collection. And when you see a piece like this, the first thing you think is mystery. Where did it come from? Who designed it? There are some stories that people say that it was involved in a car crash, that it was in a truck getting delivered to its Cartier store, and there was a car accident, and this is how it got its shape. A lot of people say that it's not true. The way that it was designed is still a mystery till today. It reminds me of like Salvador Dali. You see that free form shape? Definitely not your typical watch. It's something that stands out and it's like, wait, what is that? I need a closer look because it has that small case size, but it's also very different. It's like, I want to see what's going on your wrist when I see that piece. We got Tyler, the Creator, wearing a Cartier Opus Quadrant. Very different piece. Of course, you see how much metal there is surrounding that dial. So again, Cartier, I guess they like to stand out doing different style cases where you don't see on most watches. You know, very unique and very different. And of course, he's sporting it with a gorgeous orangey, lava-y style leather band. It stands out. It's definitely very different. I don't know if it's my cup of tea, but Tyler's wearing it gorgeously, so I might have to add one to my own collection. We got Tyler wearing a Cartier Pebble, extremely rare piece. I'm assuming that Tyler, the creator, could spend close to $500,000 on this piece, knowing the market on these. Everyone wants it, but also extremely, extremely rare. Of course, a man like Tyler needs one in his collection, needs something that's going to stand out and that most people cannot get. Rihanna. This was special. Everyone went crazy in the Super Bowl when Rihanna wore this. We got Rihanna wearing a Jacob & Co. with this bright red glass encasing the skeletonized dial. Unbelievable. When it comes to Jacob and setting stones on his watches, it's the best. Shout out to Jacob for making these big icy pieces always so special. I mean, the work on this, it's a one of one. And when you see it, you think Rihanna. We're in a piece like this, you have nearly like 300 diamonds. I know there's around like 230 diamonds set on its case. Then of course you have diamonds on the crown and on its buckle. The cool part with Jacob is Jacob started as a jeweler before he created watches. So his knowledge and diamond setting and diamond selection, you see how he brought it over to watches. When you see a Jacob watch, most of the time there will be diamond set in it. And most of the time it's perfect. Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, again, just like most of these celebrities, they want to stand out differently. He said, you know what? I've been wearing Rolex for 20, 30 years. Let me give Hermes a chance. Let me see if this fetches me a couple different compliments or a couple different questions. Here's Ben Affleck in the Hermes Our Soleil de la Lune. I've personally not seen a lot of people wear it. So what you got over there, you see the contrast. So you have black in that dial and also white. So I'm assuming that it's this intricate mechanism over there. I believe it is a moon phase mechanism from the looks of it, with the two moons that you see on the dial that's done with, of course, precisely cut mother of pearl that they had to place intricately in the dial.
Peace. Could someone put a number 1 in the chat if you can hear me? It's been acting up all evening. Been kicking me out all evening. Excuse me for the technical difficulties, family. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's shallow and gullible. Um, I don't know if they're gifts from someone, but either way, it's really shallow and gullible that someone could convince you or anyone that you should have, an $18 million watch. You can see who's the one who has the wisdom and have any type of sense, like Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington. These are two men who are doing like $20 to $25 million per movie. And you don't see them walking around like that. Most people who have any type of intelligence, they're not flashy like that. See, our people, we like to be flashy. And we like to set ourselves up for really to be robbed. That's why the young brother was murdered in the Waffle House earlier this year, the young rapper, because he's walking around California with a $300,000 necklace. He don't got no security. He's not armed himself. What's crazy about that is some of these brothers who don't have a record, you don't have a police record, you got all this jewelry, but you don't take no time to bond yourself so you can carry a legal firearm. They don't think about going and spending that type of money, bonding themselves so they can carry all over the nation and protect themselves. They don't think about that. They think about being flashy and as if it can't happen to them until it happened to them. It's ridiculous how frivolous some of our people are. If you don't have land, you don't own a home, and you got that kind of jewelry, your priorities are not straight. If you have all that and you're living in an apartment, if you're living in a condo, having all that, your priorities are not straight because your home is connected to somebody else's home. So you're spending that kind of money on a necklace or a bracelet or a watch, and you can't look out your back patio door and see acres. Something's wrong with your thinking. You don't own no tractors. You don't own no crop dusters. You can have crop dusters and tractors and rototillers. You don't got none of that, but you got a $100,000 watch, but you don't got no rototiller. You don't got no tractor. You're not planting nothing. Our priorities are wrong. Something wrong with our thinking. And it's because the thinking is ours, yet you have those who manipulate the gullible. Because if you thought for yourself, peace to Equator 7, thanks for coming through. I appreciate that. If you have the mindset that you are going to be that type of person who cultivate the land and be able to, plant fruits and vegetables and not be this sucker for fashion and for frivolous spending, you will invest in some land. You will own property. it's like a lot of our people will put the best gas in their vehicle, but the worst foods in their body. They want the octane, they want Sunoco, but they go and eat the worst things. Our priorities are wrong. And what type of mindset do you have when you go to any salesperson and they can convince you to spend that kind of money on one piece? One piece. And these men are more shinier than the females. More shinier than the females. I'm not saying I wouldn't buy my wife no fly jewelry. I'm not saying that. But she definitely, if anybody gonna shine, it'll be her. But these guys, they would wear like those Cartier watches that Tyler the Creator was wearing. I wouldn't wear. Look like women watches. Women watches. To me, they look like women watches. But if anybody's gonna shine in my equation, it'd be my wife. There's no way I'll walk around with all that big jewelry, especially like the jewelry that Busta Rhymes wear, like that those fat necklaces. That's just plain ridiculous. And these are older men buying that. I can understand when they was younger, they excited to be out and they, want to show their wealth. But you got men in their 50s going out spending that kind of money. Shows where their mindset is. Not thinking at all. Especially if they don't have any property. Before I end this stream, I want to say peace to Equator 7, No, the Reals McCoy. Black Wild Indian, Dre Cobb's Music. Salute to you all. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate that. Yeah, I wouldn't put that past them. No, I would not put that past them. They, tangling together, and a lot of those guys who wear that type of jewelry twerk. Guys shouldn't twerk. Shouldn't do it. They shouldn't. They're a little, got sugar in their tank. This is your brother Nasir, and this is The Enemy's Public. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace. A once gold-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. The rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise. Author Angela King James presents Fire. Get it on Amazon, on paperback, or Kindle.
Yo. The enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
A once gold-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. The rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise. Author Angela King James presents Fire.